guys, welcome back to Relegation Battle. Let's get straight into it after a big weekend of football. Start with Merseyside derby. So finished 2-2 in the end, but the goals weren't really the talking point. So start with the first talk about the game, which is the Van Dijk injury. So the ball's in paint the box. Van Dijk's like an inch offside, and then Pickford's absolutely 2-footed in midair. Not sure what he's doing, but subsequently Van Dijk's now needs to go to surgery, out for about 8 months, pretty much for the whole season. Jack, we saw Laporte last year. We had a few injuries the season before as well, and we saw the effect that on City. Do you think that's going to be a similar situation for Liverpool now this season?
100%, because they have good defenders, but he just miles ahead of them. So it's going to be a massive miss for them. So they're going to probably have to play Joe Gomez and Matip at centre-back, and that's nowhere near anyone you play with Van Dijk. Is just nowhere near that level. So I think it's going to massively hinder them, like you said they did with Man City when Laporte was injured.
Then, Tom, what did you make of the situation in general? Because it's offside, so whatever happens, it doesn't matter afterwards. But what Pickford done wasn't really, what's the word? It wasn't safe because he was like far off the ground, 2-footed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one because it's rarely you see that. It's probably just obviously it would have been a penalty. It was offside. But then the challenge has already happened, so I know the result of it doesn't occur to a penalty. But then if it didn't occur to a penalty, can you really give the red? You can't, but then you feel like it's that bad that it deserves it. So I don't think it should have been a red just because it was offside, because if you're giving him a red for it, then it's basically got to be a penalty, which it would have been. But I think it's just because the challenge is so disgusting and not great that people are saying he just should be sent off no matter what, but it's just not the rules, and it's because it was offside. Anything that's offside that happens can't occur, whether it's a goal or a red card.
Do you think that rule should be changed here? Because we saw, obviously, with the Richarlison incident, the ref actually blew the whistle beforehand and then Richarlison went in. So do you think the offside one's something that perhaps needs to be changed just to avoid that situation happening again?
I don't know, because it's rare you ever see it, to be honest. Maybe now they'll think about it because it has happened.
I don't think that is the rule, though, because the referee committee came out and said it was just human error. They just got it wrong. They didn't say anything about the rules. He literally said it should have been a red card. Nothing to do with VAR. He said the referee got it wrong. It was human error. I don't think that's the rule. They just got it wrong. It should have been a red card.
No. Yeah, but if they got VAR, and how can they have human error when they got VAR? Because they would have looked at the challenge. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, they did. Yeah, they obviously did. And
you can't get human error when you're looking at the replay like 10 times.
You clearly can.
You can because the idiot's running it.
You clearly can.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is you can't. So that's not an excuse of human error. There is no excuse for human error there, because that's the whole point of excluding human error.
Yeah, well, there was another VAR decision, of course. At the end, it seemed like Henderson had just grabbed the winner, but then, well, between Sadio and Mane, the line showed that he might be like an inch offside. But when you look at the picture, there seems to be no part of his body, apart from his elbow, which can't score, obviously, that was offside. Ty, what do you make of that decision? Was it the right one in the end? And is that another rule that still needs to be changed?
It's the wrong decision, but we've been saying this for how long now? For over a year, because VAR still hasn't improved and they're still getting simple offside decisions wrong. So like that Henderson goal should have counted, but I'm not really sure why. Did they say what kind of body part was offside this time? Did they say, or what?
I think it was his shoulder they tried claiming.
Yeah, it was like this bit, because now it's
offside then. He's offside because you can score with your shoulder.
The handball rule changed. If it hits your arm above your t-shirt, it's not handball, even if it hits there. So it was like this bit that was offside as up.
Even then, you're offside with any body part you can score with. and your shoulder you can
Yeah.
score with.
Yeah, maybe it was the
It
right
was just the
decision. To
lines
be fair.
look so
It's very
big
close.
that made it look like offside. But I don't know. Well, I'm glad it was offside. I didn't want Liverpool winning, but it depends.
I mean, it was a good game. It was a very end-to-end game as well. Liverpool did take the lead. Mane then Salah with a great goal as well. But it was between like James and Thiago again, like two players we were both excited to see in the Prem, creating chances. I mean, that Thiago pass as well for the final goal was a great no-look pass. James as well dictating play, Dino good. But the player I want to talk about is Calvert-Lewin. Had a great international break, scoring Spurs goal for England, and now great header as well. Jack, what do you make of him, and how far can he go this season?
Well, not even this season. Coming up to the end of last season, he did brilliant, and I expect him to carry on, but not this well. Didn't think he would score. What I think he's on top goal scorer. I think he's on 7 or maybe 6. Can't remember how many goals.
He's on 7 with Son.
So he's actually exceeded my expectations, even though I had high expectations from him. So he started very well. He's had a very good start to the season, and where he can get to this season, if he carries on, he's challenging for the Golden Boot, 100%. But it's just whether him and this Everton team can carry on this form.
Yeah, I think that the squad depth could be an issue, like one injury and then
James get injured, and that is their main vocal point. Their play literally dictates through him. As much as not, like obviously the other signings have been brilliant, but the reason why they're attacking so well is literally because of James. His passing and his intelligence when attacking, his positional awareness is just brilliant. Like you look at how many they've scored a lot of set piece goals already, and that's come from him. Or is it Digne or one of them? But even then, exactly. So they got a lot of ball players on the pitch, and it's starting to help them now.
Yeah, I think Everton definitely improved on that. I mean, he came in December, and a lot of people, I guess it's Everton, so they're not really in the talking point as much as the other big teams on like social media. But no one really gave Ancelotti that time to get his players in. But now he's done that. This move kicking on. But let's move on to the next game of the weekend. It was the Chelsea Southampton game, I believe. Ty, we'll start with you. We'll go bit by bit in the game. So Werner finally gets his first Premier League goal, and he got 2 in the end as well. Assisted Havertz as well. What did you make of that? Well, that first half, should we say, with Havertz, Werner, like all of them linking up?
Positive, because obviously I think that was the first time since the first game of the season that Werner played up front, and obviously he got 2 goals. Havertz playing in his right position, so them two were linking up well, and I think we probably should have killed it off in the first half. But typical Chelsea, we don't do that. We make things difficult for ourselves, and then I think Havertz gave the ball away for their first goal, and then obviously the defence just fell asleep as per usual. But it's the same old Chelsea, really. Very good in attack, but we just can't defend.
Yeah, I think Ings just got that goal before half-time, if I'm correct. But then the second goal was the main, I guess, talking from a Chelsea perspective. So Zuma, it was a suspect pass, but I think Kepa still had enough time to react to just boot it out. But instead, he's almost...
Okay, here we go.
No.
What do you think, Tom?
I'm sorry, you cannot blame that on the keeper. As much as he weren't great in that, I'm not saying he shouldn't have done better. We all know how shit he is. But Zuma gets a lot of praise, and that was shocking. It weren't even like a pass, it was more like a touch. It hardly went anywhere.
Yeah.
It was shocking. Kepa should not be getting blamed. I know you could say he should do better, yeah, but he should not ever be put in that circumstance any time. You're a professional footballer and you're doing that. It's ridiculous.
It's not one or the other. It's just a collective, both of them really. I'm not going to say Zuma done everything well, because that was a terrible pass or touch, wherever it was. He had a poor game, but then at the end of the day, Kepa did slip, or he tried something. I don't know what he tried. It was like he slipped. yeah,
Then
for his
there was
legs.
that second afterwards as well. He like tried slide tackling the ball
Yeah.
afterwards, and then Adam just finished it. I'm not sure what he was doing the
Just
second time
comical.
around, but
This is like something from pro clubs or something.
yeah. But then you did take the lead again. It was good play from Pulisic, from Werner, from Havertz. Then the
Yeah.
last second of the game, I'm not sure if it's counted as a Walcott's goal or Vestergaard's, like who we touched
Vestergaard.
last, but Vestergaard then. But is that? I mean, I think Lampard came out and talked about game management a bit, and then the bigger players doing that. But how do you look at that?
I think he can't just blame it on the players. I think it's down to coaching as well.
Yeah.
I'm not Lampard out or anything, but it is down to coaching, because we've had this problem since the start of last season when we played, I think it was Sheffield United, and we were 2-0 up and we bowled that game as well. And that was when they were new to the league. So I think game management needs to be improved by both the players and the coaching staff, because he said that he wanted to do long balls to try and see the game out, but he brought on Abraham instead of Giroud, which made no sense to me. If you want to try and have your striker hold up the ball, it's better to bring on someone like Giroud, because he's better than Abraham at holding up the ball. But yeah, I think game management needs to be improved by both sets of players and coaches.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could look from Southampton as well. Ings continuing to score as well, so you've got to give credit to him. Adams, the more he plays with Ings, is getting better as well, like playing up top together.
Yeah.
And they're in a similar situation as well. They're doing well going forward, but defensively, they're still not great. They signed Salisu, but I don't think he's coming to the squad just yet just because of injury. But yeah, hopefully they can kick on. Then we'll go to the United game. It was a shaky start, shall we say. Funny own goal from Luke Shaw. But then United they're fairly strong, I'd say. Bruno missed his first penalty, of course, not great, but he still turned up late in the game. And unlike Spurs and Chelsea, who like collapsed a bit in the end, United really kicked on, Jack. So what did you make of the game in general?
Yeah, I mean, the start we had when obviously that own goal went in, I was just fearing the worst. You know, that early scoring an own goal, that just doesn't breed confidence throughout any of the players. But to be fair, we didn't let that affect us. We kept going, and to be fair to them, I thought we played very well. Before the game, there was a lot of talk, social media, about the team selection.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone has their opinions on social, but obviously he gets paid millions, so he must know more than us, and clearly it worked. His team selection raised a few eyebrows, like Tariq is doing there, but it actually paid off. So, and I thought we played very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the surprising players was Juan Mata, but he put a brilliant display. Rashford at the end as well, in the last 10 minutes, just decided to go to the next level. Wan-Bissaka got his first goal as well. So going into this PSG game now, was that just the perfect ending, just to get a bit more confidence in the side and get going in the Champions League now?
Yeah, it was, because especially after that poor Palace result, just about beat Brighton and then got humiliated by Spurs, it was good to get a few goals as well. We did concede, but to score 4 and win the game, it's going to do us good just before this big game against PSG.
Yeah, Cavani's come out of his quarantine time now. Cavani, do you think he'll start against PSG? Same with Telles as well, I guess.
I know he won't, because he hasn't travelled.
Okay.
Cavani, Maguire, Bailly, Lingard, Greenwood haven't travelled.
Jesus Christ.
They're all injured. Apart from Cavani, who's just not ready yet. He needs a few more games. He'll be in the Chelsea squad. But
they're injured.
So most of them have a few knocks, but they should be back for the weekend. But yeah, so the answer to your question, Joe, is no, he won't start. But obviously, Martial can play in this game, so he'll start front. I think he'll make a few changes. So obviously, he'll have to at the back with having no Maguire.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, there's no boy who normally plays in the other games in the Premier League. So we might see a partnership of
Oh God,
Lindelof and Tuanzebe.
Oh, okay. I
Or
thought you were going
we'll
to say Phil
play.
Jones.
Nah, or we'll play Tuanzebe, Lindelof, and Luke Shaw as a back three. And then, like you
Yeah.
said, with Cavani, put Telles. He'll start. I think he'll start. And then obviously we'll play 5 at the back with Martial, maybe Rashford up top.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. So Maguire came out today. Maguire's going to miss the game, and Bruno Fernandes will captain you tomorrow. So how do you feel about that? Because there's obviously a couple of rumours after that Spurs game when Fernandes, Maguire, and Ole in the changing room. So how do you react to Fernandes being handed armband? I mean, he's been there for about 6 months, 8, well, not 6, but 10 months now.
Well, we just lost 6-1. Everyone's passionate. I think it was at half time the rumours came out. So we were 4-1 down at half time. It's not like you're going to be happy. I'd be more annoyed if they were happy, you know. So it just shows a bit of passion. You say he's been there 10 months, but Maguire got the whole captaincy after 4 months. So it's not about how long you've been there, it's about what you do in the time you're there.
Yeah.
And Bruno Fernandes showed he's a proper leader on the pitch. Since he's come, he's been our best player. So I think, and obviously you would say maybe De Gea, Pogba, someone like that would get it. But I think they've spoken openly about the problems at the club. So they've been captaincy haven't taken away from them, which is why I think they're not captain. Otherwise, De Gea, well, if Mata plays, would be, but that made me feel like he's not playing. So I'm happy to see Bruno because, like I said, he's a leader on and off the pitch.
Jack, the other thing was, I don't think we talked about it last time, but Paul Pogba made a few comments about Real Madrid saying it's a dream to play there, like he wouldn't mind working with Zidane. We've seen these comments from players before. How do you analyze that? Like, do you think maybe he's trying to get a move there?
Maybe, but you can't read too much into that, saying he would like to work with a fellow French coach and being at one of the biggest clubs in the world. Maybe they might be that well like the last couple of years, but they're like one of the biggest clubs in the world. So saying that you want to play for that just shows you have ambition. So obviously I'd love him to stay, but if he goes, he goes.
Yeah. And then I think the only other game from Saturday was the City-Arsenal game. City winning 1-0. Another controversial VAR decision in that game was the high foot from Kyle Walker on Gabriel when Gabriel headed the ball. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but
No, I didn't.
do you think it's a penalty or is it
No.
just too soft?
I don't think
You're
it's
the
a
only one
penalty.
that saw it.
I know you could say it stopped him maybe from heading the ball, but there was no contact made. I know it's a high foot, so it doesn't always have to be contact. But you saw, like, if you watched it closely, you saw he pulled out like the last second. So it's not like he went and extended his leg. He put his high was high, his foot was high, but I just think it was beat too soft for a penalty.
Yeah, when it came at the time, I wasn't really convinced by it. I was more just annoyed that because we were dominating at the end of the half, so that was just before the whistle as well. So I was just more annoyed that we didn't score. But yeah, I just think it's a bit too soft for a penalty. It might have been a free kick from like one of those ones. It's a free kick, but it's not a penalty.
Yeah, anywhere
So-
on the pitch, that's a free kick, yeah.
Whoa. If it's a free kick, though, wouldn't it still be a penalty? Anywhere that's a foul on the pitch, no matter if it's a penalty in the penalty box outside, a foul's a foul. If it's a foul, it's a penalty. So if it's a foul outside, it's still a penalty.
I
So it's a
get that, but
penalty.
it doesn't always happen, though. It's like
it doesn't always happen, but
It should happen.
it should happen. That is the rule. A foul is a foul. Doesn't matter where you are on the pitch. A foul's a foul.
But there's fouls that's not enough to be a penalty, but there's fouls to be enough
I don't
foul.
think there is. I think if it's not enough to be a penalty, it's not enough to be a free kick. It's a foul. It's about whether it's an. I get what you're saying because I think it's because of the fact that refs, because a penalty is such a big
It's
deal.
a free
compared
shot.
to
Yeah,
free
it's a free
kick.
shot on goal.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The rule is if it's a foul, it's a penalty or it's a free kick.
Yeah,
I get
but
what you're
obviously
saying, but
the whole of like amount of years, there's always been. I don't get what you're saying, but it's just that's been the norm. It's been the norm, isn't it? So
yeah,
that's
true.
why I said.
But that's why I always look at it. If that is outside the box, are you saying that's a free kick or not? If you say it's free kick, it's a penalty.
Probably because it's high foot, but I get 100% get what you're saying. If it's a foul, like whether it's in your defensive box, your attacking box. If it's a penalty, if it's a foul, it's a penalty. But that doesn't happen, which is why I said it's a foul anywhere on the pitch, but it's not enough for a penalty.
I mean, I really like the penalty in that game, but yeah, it's a weird thing. We lost, but that was probably our best performance at the Etihad in a long, long time. City, who have like dominated us in the league the last couple of years, we still haven't won away in Big Six since like 2015, I believe.
I still thought you were still too defensive, though.
Yeah, that was the thing. So first half, I thought we were playing at the back quite well. Like when you have Aguero coming back, Marvin, Sterling, Foden, all these guys, I think you have to naturally just sit back a bit and try to play out. But the weird thing for me was Pep's formation, because he saw Aguero to the middle, Mars on the right, but he saw Sterling and Foden, both of them was playing on the left. Walker was the right back, but then Cancelo was also on the right. He's floating between that centre mid and right back spot. Bernardo Silva did get play really well from centre mid, to be fair to him. And then you had Ruben Diaz and Ake as well, floating between centre back, left back. And then I think it's just really hard for us to read like where each player was playing. And then we had Willian playing as a false nine almost, which didn't really make sense to me. Because he's really poor in that position. He couldn't.
Wait, where was Aubameyang playing?
Yeah,
on the left.
You're calling out for Aubameyang to go. I thought he was going to be actually. When I
really wanted to play down the middle, but
Arteta ball.
I mean,
you see the other week when Leeds played City, they got like not like you got like a bit. They were dominating most of the first half, but you came into it. But Leeds got battered that first half when they played them.
Yeah.
But that second half, they came at City, and City couldn't handle it. I just thought you always start defensive against these big teams under Arteta, and it's done well for you so far. But I just thought, especially getting to that second half when you're needing a goal, you just weren't. You had a bit more of the ball up there, but you never really pushed forward and put City under any sort of real pressure.
Well, at the end
Edison's
of the
made
first
two
half,
good saves, but
at the end of the first half, Arsenal started to come into it and show like some intensity in the game. And I was thinking they're going to come at them in the second half, and it just went back to normal like it was in the early stages of the first half.
City don't like it when teams come at them.
They're not good enough at the back.
Yeah,
especially without Laporte as well there.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like not everyone had that same desire to win, because when I was watching it, I feel like Tierney was like desperate to get at least a point in that game. Like the way he was like angry at other players they made a mistake, where he was driving forward. Him, Ceballos, Xhaka, I think they were right. But the player I'm talking about is Saka. For me, he was the best player on the pitch from both teams. Jack, what do you make of this performance? Because for me, like it was a good performance, even though we lost.
Yeah, I thought he was probably your best player. Like you said, best player on the pitch, near enough. So, I mean, because he wasn't like where was he playing like a central mid sort of? Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like obviously I don't know if the main position, but that quite suited him because he could pick up the ball, drive with the players, and that when he nearly scored the that nice little passage of play you had, I think it was the end of first half.
Yeah, when
Edison made that great saves, I thought he played very well. Especially against a good City team.
Yeah, like he's really driving us forward because when you put a bang on the left, he's really just not in the game as much as he would be into the middle. Like he can't really attack as much because it's such a hard position to really get into, especially in our team as well.
I don't really understand that because when Willian was at Chelsea, most of his best games came from when he was playing on the left. So I thought that you would have just played Aubameyang through the middle, Willian on the left, because that's just where their best positions are.
The thing with Arteta is he just likes a hold-up player. That's why I don't understand Willian. Surely would have been Lacazette, but that's why I like Lacazette through the middle, just hold up the play and build up through like that, rather than just play Aubameyang in behind almost. But I mean, hopefully it could be a big team away from home soon. Then going to next more Sunday's games. Let's start with the Spurs one. Let's just talk about it. We'll talk about the first half, Tom.
Yeah.
Kane and Son have started the Started the league unbelievably. I believe Kane's got the highest in goals and assists combined for like the first 7 games. Like, he just got the record now, getting loads of goals and assists. It seems like whenever Kane's in the ball, Son just seems to run behind and score. I mean, first off alone, how do you just rate that performance from you guys?
10 out of 10. We go 3-0 up in 15 minutes. What more could you want, you know? They didn't really do much. They had a bit of possession at the end of it, but they never done anything with it. We were clinical. We were playing well. We looked solid at the back when they did attack us. We didn't have any problems. And then it was literally like a 10 out of 10 performance for literally 80 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes, I just don't understand it, to be honest. It's if there is one team to do that in the league, it's us. It's just simple as that. There's just so many players that are just so fucking shit. I've just had enough of them, because I won't get ahead of myself. But I've always wanted to. Everyone talks about a trophy. If there's one trophy I'd love to have, it's the Premier League. This is such a good season. Like that season we had with Leicester, that was our best chance to get a Premier League title, because City, Liverpool weren't great at that time, but City, Chelsea were just non-existent, and Man United and Arsenal weren't doing much either that season. That was perfect for us. We bottled it for that one, and Leicester fucking got it over us. This is the next best season for us to do it, especially with the results going our way the whole of the weekend. Van Dijk's injury, I know I'm not celebrating it, but you got to admit, him being out for so long, like Jack says, just hinders their whole season, because we saw when he went at Liverpool, they were still losing to teams like Bournemouth at times, because their defence was shocking. And that was the last time we actually beat them, when he went at the fucking club. We played brilliant against them. They literally, if they got another one like Salah, that's it. They're done, because they won't be able to cope. City ain't doing
Alice
great.
is still injured as well.
Exactly. That keeper's shit. And then we just go and fucking... It's not even... It's just annoying, because, like I said, we bottled it again, like we always do, but we dropped 2 points against Newcastle. We've dropped 2 points again. We got robbed against Newcastle by the refs, but this time we have got robbed, but we've robbed ourselves. So it's just not. We ain't got. I think it's just centre backs. Toby was fine, but so was Sanchez, to be honest. Sanchez keeps having these performances where I'm like, oh, you know what? There is a player in there. He's still got potential. He's still quite young. He's got all the attributes to be a very, very good centre-back. But then he reminds you that he hasn't got a fucking brain. He's that shit. Like, he does... the way he positions his body sometimes, the mistakes he makes, he's just got no brain whatsoever. So he's just... I'm just sick and tired. Sissoko's another one, and Wings. He's just fucking shit. We just need more players. We ain't good enough to win the league. But I feel bad for our attackers. Like I saw Kane's face. I'm just thinking, like, I can't believe you're still at the club, even Son. So
yeah, I mean, at 3-0 just seemed like a perfect time to bring Bale on, just use him back into the side, get him some minutes, but didn't go that way. I mean, like you said, you can't really explain something like that. I mean, Lanzini is probably the best goal of his life, let's be honest.
He always scores against us as well. He's got a very good record against us.
Yeah, I mean, going to the game, I thought West Ham normally do try a bit harder against Spurs, but when it's like 3-0, I was like, okay, that's game done.
Well, it should be,
Jack, we talked about Chelsea, and there was a bit of game management issue at the end. Mourinho is one of the best in the world at managing games, let's be honest. Like, if you need someone to see a game out, he'll probably pick him as manager.
Yeah.
So can you put it down to that, or was it just almost in the Spurs DNA?
No. It's the players. It's not his fault. It is not his fault.
Yeah, it's not his fault. However, you can't just say 3-0 up, you can't just take all, like, obviously most of the players' fault, but you got to be like, why hasn't, it's 3-2, maybe Jose brings on another defender for an attacker. Just hold out, because when they scored their second goal, 85th minute, you got 5 minutes left. Bring on another defender just to see it out. I'm not saying it's Mourinho's fault at all, but sometimes you just, like, when things go well, it's the manager. When things go bad, it's the manager. It's the whole team. You know, sometimes not just the players, not just the manager. And I was actually watching. I was watching the game with Tom, and in the 50th something minute, when he was still 3-0, he said to me, "The game's not over." I said, "Yeah, it is." And obviously, look what happened. So, football is a strange sport.
Yeah, I guess you could just put it down to football, really. Just that happens sometimes. But I mean, I just saw now Leeds have lost the Wolves 1-0. Looks like Jimenez got the goal in that. So
Yeah,
I think if Leeds won there, I should have gone third. So interesting result there. But I think that sort of caps off like the season so far. Like every game has been completely unpredictable because Wolves haven't had a great start. Let's be honest, they haven't been playing well. They've been really defensive. Like it's not been the start they wanted. Then Leeds, on the other hand, put a good performance against Liverpool and City, beat Fulham and Sheffield, although they're not the greatest teams. And then you see this happen, and Leeds out. You would expect Leeds to beat Wolves. And you can say the same about Leicester. They smashed City 5-2, lost to West Ham, lost to Villa. I mean, and Villa are the only unbeaten, like 100% team left.
yeah.
So, do you guys think it's going to be a bit like that 15-16 season where Leicester won? I'm not saying like Villa are like going to win it. I mean, you never know. They could do. They've got 100% start, best defensive record as well. Martinez has been brilliant for them. I mean, do you guys think it could happen again?
It's the closest we're going to get for a long time. Yeah,
Of course, it
because
could
of
happen
Liverpool and then Man City are in the transition. So, yeah.
again.
this is
Literally,
the
yeah,
best chance.
like Tom said. Now, I know it's like just one player, but one player's massive. Van Dijk. That's going to change Liverpool's whole season. They might go and buy another defender in January, but it won't be anywhere near
Yeah,
Van
who are they
Dijk's
going to
quality.
buy?
Exactly. They might.
They're going to get Koulibaly, so that's the only one I'd say close.
Exactly. So they're struggling. City are still struggling in the back, even though they've brought 2 new centre halves. So clearly something going on there. Mate, we haven't started well. Arsenal are doing all right.
We're in a process.
Yeah, you're doing all right. You're still in a process. Tottenham are doing all right. I know they've not done well against. Well, I'm not saying not done well, but they obviously dropped points against Newcastle and now West Ham. But they've done all right. But Villa, like you said, 100% win record. You never know. It could be another 15-16 Leicester season, but just have to wait. Yeah, it was a great goal, but we just have to wait. Maybe 10 games, we can see if they're still maybe 9 out of 10. If they're 10 out of 10, then they've got a real chance.
I mean, they've still got a game in hand, to be fair to them, but yeah, you just got to be credit to the way they've signed players and the percentage they need. They had to beat Leicester in a 1-0 win, really late winner from Ross Barkley. He scored 2 and 2 now, so maybe he's getting the minutes he needs. Maybe Chelsea should get him back in January, who knows. Another game on the weekend was the M23 derby, Palace vs Brighton. Palace got the lead through early penalty. I believe Zaha scored it. Scored a few against Brighton now. And then really late on in the game, Brighton did equalise through McAllister, I believe, and then Lewis Dunn got sent off as well. I think it was a red card, to be honest. But
Yeah, he misses
did
our
guys
game
watch
now.
that game? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
The only thing is, Palace had, that penalty Palace had, that was their only shot in the whole game.
Was it only shot? Was it only shot target?
The only shot.
Only shot. That's what I saw.
The only shot.
Was
That's shocking.
Mate, that's poor. But is Lewis Dunk definitely banned for 3 games? What was it for? What did he get sent off for? Because obviously, remember Christensen, he got red card.
If it's just a standard red card, it's 1 game. But if it's violent conduct, it's 3, I think.
Yeah, violent conduct's 3. Then if it's the last man challenge, then it's only 1, I think.
What was it? Do you know what his was for?
I think his was violent conduct because it definitely wasn't the last man.
Saying that, and he's definitely out.
3 then.
Yeah, so, I mean, Brighton have started all right as well, to be fair, this season. Put a few good performances against big teams.
Yeah.
So Dunkhouse is going to be a big miss for them. Then today, in the 47th game of the league, I believe, we've seen the first 0-0. West Brom v Burnley. Whoever paid £15 to watch that game deserves to get a 0-0, to be honest. Because I don't know who's paying for that, but someone definitely did.
Was that another... Was that
the
another box office game?
Yeah.
It was the Sheffield United Fulham, which was 1-1, but that was like 19th versus 20th.
Yeah.
15 quid to watch it. I mean, if whoever's bought that, it's crazy.
Not really. If
Yeah.
you're a Sheffield United or Fulham fan, you're going to pay it, aren't you?
The Eagle Street.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah. Bro, you're going to pay £15 to watch a team on the TV. Go and watch a stream. People who pay that.
But some people don't do that, do they?
No, obviously,
Chelsea's
yeah,
not
you
just
will get.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, so is United's.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're not be bought, obviously, because it's
No
really
way.
rough.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the streaming stuff's almost if you want to call it the younger generation of fans. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Really,
That's something my
yeah.
dad would buy.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. But the thing is, the box office games, that has to be like a Liverpool City or a Derby game.
Yeah.
But those games are not going to be box office. They're going to be sure.
They're gonna be- yeah,
Exactly. So
exactly.
I don't understand this whole thing.
I call
It's
it
just
corruption.
more money for the
It's
teams.
just
Yeah.
stupid though.
It's because they're not getting fans in the stadium to buy tickets. So even though
Yeah.
fans are still paying for their season ticket, they still have to pay £15 to watch their team. if it's
No
not on
way.
TV. Yeah.
Is
They
the
haven't done
season
anything-
ticket not getting reimbursed?
At the moment,
I
they're
don't
still
think
paying
so.
for it.
Mate.
I think as well, I
obviously-
saw, because it's Sky Sports box office, you also have to have Sky Sports to actually watch the game as well, I think.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
even if
thought
you-
as well.
And
So
even if you
that's-
have Sky Sports, you still have to pay the £15, which is unbelievable. But that's just what's happening right now. Then other leagues as well, Barca and Madrid both lost their games before Champions League starts. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Both lost 1-0, I believe. The PSG won the game 4-1. And Mbappe got goals as well. Big game in Italy, Milan derby, and well, I think 2 weeks ago IBRA was tested positive for Corona, and then now he's just basically won the derby for them. It's 2-1. Lukaku scored for Inter, but IBRA's 2 goals that wins it for them. Champions League started this week. We did a little preview last week, but not really. I mean, I guess I just wait to see how the results go. A few big games as well. Obviously, United, PSG, probably one of the biggest. I think Liverpool, Ajax as well. Should be an interesting game. Tom, do you know who you're playing on Thursday?
Yeah, we're playing Lask.
All right, fair enough. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who we're playing.
Shocking.
Yeah, I can't be asked, but hopefully get some youngsters in game time. But yeah, that is all that happened this week, I believe. Yeah, have a nice.
Before I think it's time to talk. I think it's